Creepstone Manor is haunted, and it's been turned into a hotel, and the ghosts don't like it. Ghostel is a game that allows you to take charge of a ghost and scare visitors away during the night. Created by Bevan Clatworthy and published by Tinkerbot Games, players use their skills to play upon the fears of the unfortunate patrons of this nightmarish lodge and scare the snot out of them. For points. Published in 2017, Ghostel is a game for 2 to 4 players and can usually be played in just under an hour. Setup is easy. Set the board out, then shuffle and separate the cards into 4 decks: Scare Tactics, Spooky Favors, Terror Bonuses, and Guest cards. Place the top 9 guest cards face up onto the board, 1 guest into each room. Place the ghostly barrier tokens and phobia tokens near the board. Each player takes a ghost figure, a score tracker, and dice in their color. Each player also gets a player aid, a spooky favor, and a Scare Tactics card. Now every player rolls 3 dice to begin the game. Player order is determined with the highest roll taking first position, second highest takes second position, and so on. The night phase begins, and the first player now starts scaring the guests by choosing a room for their ghost to appear. Now leave one of your 3 dice on the guest card in that room. Each other player follows in turn order and does the same. On the next round, each player must move their ghost to an adjacent room orthogonally, not diagonally. Drop another die on the guest in that room. On the third round, you can move into another room, or you may backtrack to the previous room visited in the first turn. After the third round, ghosts retreat to the attic and scoring begins. Each guest has courage indicated by this number. If the total of all dice on the card is equal to or greater than the courage, then the guest is scared away from the hotel. The player whose dice total is highest gets the number of points indicated on the spooky score, then moves their marker along the score track. Second place gets these points, then third and fourth place get these points. In the case of a tie, each of the players score the full points. Scared guest cards are discarded, and the guests who weren't scared away this round gain a little courage. This means that any dice on their cards get flipped down 1 point in value. If a die shows a 1, then it is removed from the guest card. The day phase now begins, and players may spend some points that they've earned to purchase up to 2 new cards from one of these 3 decks. The cost of the card is shown at the bottom. You can't buy 2 of the same card on the same round. Let's take a look at what these cards can do for you. Terror bonus cards will either give you an 8-sided die upgrade or give you an extra die to roll. Place this card in front of you after buying it. When rolling extra dice, choose 3 of them to use for your round. If you get an 8-sided die upgrade, replace one of your D6 with a D8. If you get another D8 upgrade, treat it as an extra die to add to your roll. Scare Tactics cards play upon the phobias of the guests. Some of the guests have a phobia which is indicated here. When you place your die on a guest card, you may also play a Scare Tactic card at the same time. Just match the guest's phobia with 1 on your Scare Tactics card. Then place a phobia token on the guest card and place your die on top of it to indicate it was placed by you. This token now doubles the value of the die. Discard the Scare Tactics card afterwards. There is no limit to how many phobia tokens can be placed on a card. The third type of card to purchase is Spooky Favors. These cards have details on them which give benefits to the player. You may be able to re-roll your dice, or change 1 die to a value of 6, or move diagonally through rooms, or even put up ghostly barriers. That means you put a token on a guest and shoo off any opponents, and also keep all other ghosts from entering this room. After purchasing cards, refill the hotel with new guests from the draw pile. You may notice that some guest cards have icons showing special abilities. These affect how you scare this guest, and are explained on these helpful player cards. The hardened symbol means that this guest can only be scared away if there are at least 2 dice on the card. The fraidy cat symbol means that the first die on this card is placed here and has a value 2 pips greater than the face shown. The temper tantrum symbol means that if the first die placed here is a 1 or a 6, then re-roll that die for a new result. The paranoia symbol means that during the daytime, the dice on this guest increase by a value of 1 instead of decreasing. The closed mind symbol means that if you place your third die here, you must discard a Scare Tactic or Spooky Favor card from your hand. The ghost trap symbol means that a ghost cannot move out of this room, but you can still place dice here. The fearless symbol means that this guest cannot be given any phobias by spooky favors. After refilling all of the rooms with new guests, continue playing as before, scaring the guests and trying to get the most points for each scare. When this draw pile doesn't have enough guests to fill all of the empty rooms, the game is over. The player with the highest score wins the game. Now, after playing Ghostel with these base rules, you may want to add the Creepy Cultist expansion, which is included in the box with these cards. You may add or substitute these 10 guests with the Creepy Cultist icon to the deck of guest cards. Take the 10 Creepy Cultist tokens and shuffle them face down and place them near the board. Now, when this type of guest is scared off, the player who receives the fewest points gets to take a token. Don't reveal the bonus to the other players until you want to use that bonus. On your turn, reveal and receive the bonus shown on the bottom. Bonuses can be to change one of your dice to a 6, draw a free spooky favor card, draw 3 scare tactics cards and choose one of them to keep, or simply gain 5 points on your score. Ghostel plays smoothly and is pretty easy to teach. These plastic ghost tokens are hefty and quite nicely sculpted. It's unusual to find such big components in a game this size. That says a lot about Tinkerbot Games' commitment to quality. All of the components are well made, which is what we serious gamers need. This game is perfectly themed for your Halloween-inspired board game party, or just fun for any board game night. Give it a try and have fun scaring people with Ghostel.